It's tripod time. Oh, backwards. There we go. Wow, my hat matches my background. I'm getting prepared. So we'll see what happens now. Got it in the upright position. Plugging in the power source. Someone suggested in an earlier episode that was they noticed I didn't have a hat, so now I have a hat on. Howdy! Hey, from Canada. Cool. Good to see you. Good to see you, whoever is joining. And we begin. These are just random. These are not set up. I just kind of go by. Oh, cool. All right. I'm glad to see you. Or you can see me. I can't see you. So that's, but that's okay. I'm wearing my Willy Wonka hat today. And I was thinking a lot about mental health. How I don't think society knows how to handle mental health. Because it's a progressive thing, gaining your mental health, recovering from whatever trauma you had, and how it's kind of like they shuffle you around like cattle when someone's going through a really tough time in their life and they're in shock. Their sympathetic nervous system is in shock, and I think the best thing to do is to talk about what is causing you to have the mental breakdown, because I think mental breakdowns, they happen, and each person has their limit. They have their limit on how much they can handle in their life, and sometimes people have reached their limit and they start going through shock. They start going through um, their whole world is shaken because they were in an accident, or they had something done to them, or they went through surgery, or like in my case, I went through surgery, so my life was changed in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of people can't relate to trauma because a lot of people are having good lives. They're having regular lives. They get up, they go to the bathroom, they brush their teeth, they get in their car, they go to work. But I don't think they can relate to the people who have been in a car accident, or people who have went through a major surgery and their life has changed. Their finances are different. You know, um, Everything comes as a huge shock. And it's interesting how our mentality changes throughout our life. When you're a kid and daddy says no, you can't have a sucker, or mom takes away your toy because you're misbehaving, and the world seems to be, you lose your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and it seems like a big tragic thing to you, and that contributes to your mental health. And I think what people need to do is create more support groups. Support each other, because I can relate to you because I had open heart surgery. you know I My finances are really screwed up because I can't go out and earn a regular income anymore, and I can't go out and do the things that I used to do anymore. So I could relate to you because I've been through it, and everyone has. If they're not shown coping mechanisms, they create coping mechanisms for to help them through their mental health. With me, it's humor and sarcasm. Like yesterday when my brother came to help me with some paperwork, um, I was using a lot of sarcasm and uh, cracking jokes about things like death and how people die. Like suicide. Um, Suicide really needs to be looked into, and honoring the person's wishes. Because not all of us want to commit suicide. And I was thinking about we need to stop calling it suicide and call it planned death instead, because some cultures are okay with suicide, some countries are okay with suicide. Like in Sweden, or even here in the U.S. Sometimes um, people are allowed to commit suicide. They're allowed to end their life, and I think it should be up to the person, because I think people are intelligent. People are very intelligent, and they know when their life is over, when they've lived enough life. And I think you're adding to their trauma when you force them to keep living, because some people can handle going blind, some people can handle going deaf, and some people can handle losing a limb. Some people actually want to lose a limb, and they have some kind of interesting uh, outlook or concept about being an amputee. Some people can handle being an amputee. Other people can't. Not everyone can handle something like cancer. You know, it's painful. Cancer is painful, and uh, there are a lot of things happening to the human body during cancer treatment. Treatment is sometimes worse than the actual cancer, and I think we should empathize and sympathize with somebody who is going through something like cancer. And uh, some people have the will to live; they want to continue living, and I say more power to you. If you want to beat cancer, some people do. My brother beat cancer. He had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and we went through everything to help him, and he's still alive today, and he's living a very full life. But then there are people who say, "Okay, I'm done. I have cancer. I don't want to go through more treatment. I don't want to puke more. I don't want to lose my hair. I don't want to feel weak and then have to go on medications." And so I feel like cancer is just not my bag, baby. So um, there are ways that you can end. They call it doctor assisted suicide. A doctor can help you end your life, and I think it's harsh because it should be left up to the person. You know, it's almost like murder. When you take someone's life and they didn't want their life to end, that's murder. But what do we call it when we force someone to go on living, and they don't want to go on living? You know, and it's kind of like that. It's like I've been going to dark places like that because you start to think thoughts like that. It's like, okay, I can't go out and earn an income. I'm I'm not old enough to take in social to take or to acquire, or I guess live on Social Security. I'm not old enough to be on Social Security, and or get Medicare and Medicaid, you know. So I still need medical care. I still need all these medications that I'm on, and I think it should be left up to the person. You know, sit and talk with that person and say, hey, do you? Uh, all it would take is for you to not be able to pay your insurance premium, and you don't have insurance, and you still need medical care, and just embracing that, you know, and understanding that, you know, you're even nurses have said to me, you're awfully young to have open heart surgery. You know, you're young. So it's like I'm an anomaly. I'm like a one of those weird and strange occurrences. So what I've been trying to do is um, do online business with people. You know, in the description of this video is Kingdom of Pets. I get a commission from this link called Kingdom of Pets website, and um, that's what I want to do. You know, it's like, well, that's all I can do right now is make money online. I can't show up to a job anymore and work 8 hours minimum, because you have to work 8 hours minimum to actually make a difference and in your life. And also, expenses are a lot higher now. You know, on top of car insurance, on top of um, just paying rent, on top of uh, all that, you also have your insurance premium for your medical insurance that you need. You know, so I'm trying to fill in that void, fill in that gap. You know, that financial gap, and so anyway, there's that. So it's like, let me know in the comments. You know, what do you? I think it's really important to have a talk with the person who's going through, because some people go, yeah, I got cancer, but I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to let cancer stop me from living, you know, or I had an amputation, and I'm not going to let that stop me from living, you know. And but some people go, you know what? I don't have a leg anymore. You know, I don't have an arm anymore. So I just I don't feel the same anymore going out in public, or just trying to get in my car and drive. You know, if you had to have your right leg amputated and you can't drive anymore because you can't put your foot on the gas pedal anymore. Um, I don't know. Where there's a will, there's a way. I understand that, but you know, because there are amputees who can drive. There are amputees uh, who just they get their wheelchair out of their van and they go on their merry way. But that's that person. You know, everybody I think can handle big drastic changes in their life, and I think that affects our mental health. Or having a boss that's really demanding and insulting and demeaning, you know, and you have to have that job so you can pay for your car insurance, so you can pay for your dental insurance, and you need insurance for everything now, it seems. So I'm just learning all these things about mental health. You know, sometimes just having friends is good for your mental health. Uh, Going out with your friends and having conversations and doing something like play volleyball or play darts or drink some beer and play darts, or which is kind of dangerous. So yeah, I'm talking a lot today because I got a lot on my mind about life worth living has a lot to do with mental health. A lot. If you have a life that's worth living, you know, hey, I get to go to the park on the weekend. You know, some people don't even have weekends. You know, they got to work 8 hour days, 16-hour days, just so they can pay their rent, and then they got to go on food stamps because they can't afford, it's like, okay, how much is your rent? How much is your, it's overwhelming, and it's not good for mental health. And suicide is on the rise. If you look at the statistics, suicide uh, is just, wow, should we make it easy? Why can't we make it easy on the individual? Because a lot of times we're forced to be an individual. Because it used to be mom and dad stayed together and they raised the kids. Dad was able to work and support his whole family on his income. Now, mom and dad are both working. They don't get to see each other. They don't get to have a healthy relationship. Divorces, separations happen. And it's just the hatred of the family unit. The hatred, because there's like the Matrix. Okay, the Matrix is the world that was created for you by people who hate you, and then there's the world you create. So yeah, this is stuff that I think should be talked about, that I don't think is getting addressed. They wonder why there is suicide. They wonder why there's so much depression. You know, depression is caused by these problems. You can get depressed. I get depressed a lot because of, you. I think what it is where our ego and reality have big fights with each other, because our egos want to say, yeah, I can pull down enough money. I can take home enough money to pay my bills and to get all the things I want. But then when that stops happening, when you're working your ass off and you have to sleep in your car at a Walmart parking lot, which I hear is happening a lot lately. A lot of people, they're showing up to their jobs, they're pulling down $30 an hour, $12 an hour, but that's not enough because rent is so expensive. Rent, and on top of rent, there's your car insurance, your medical insurance, and it's like, I hope I'm not scaring you just by talking about this stuff, because it scares the hell out of me. You know, if it wasn't for my mom, I would be in a bad way. I mean, I picked a bad time to have open heart surgery, and I have to keep saying that because I got to know what the cause is. A lot of times our subconscious is taking in the information, and then our subconscious is reacting to things. And a lot of times we don't have time to converse with our subconscious, like through meditating. I've noticed I've been able to do a lot of meditating, and I'm able to come to terms with a lot of stuff because my subconscious is now able to communicate with me, and I'm able to communicate with my subconscious. And what's strange is your subconscious can work on something independently. You can actually give your subconscious a suggestion, and it will work on it independently. So you won't know why you're having a panic attack. Your subconscious knows why you're having a panic attack. Your subconscious knows why you don't have a girlfriend right now. Your subconscious knows why you overeat. Your subconscious knows why you're a chain smoker. And what we do is we try to fight our subconscious. We try to break our habits. We try to stop our habits, but our subconscious takes over a lot, and because it's working on something independently. So I think that's why hypnosis and hypnotherapy is a very big player in this game, because your subconscious, uh, you need to first of all you have to realize what it is that got trapped in your subconscious. You know, um, you started smoking because it was cool. You started smoking because you wanted to be like everybody else. who is in your environment who is smoking, or advertisements, anything. So, and it how presentation. One thing I've learned is the subconscious understands very well concepts, and if you can understand a concept and realize what your subconscious has taken in as a concept, you know, it understands visualization. A lot of people who are into manifesting, they they get into manifestation and they say visualize it, and I believe that's how you do a quantum leap. A quantum, or a leap of faith is another terminology. A leap of faith, or do the quantum leap by saying you already have it. You know, if you already have it, you're relaxed. If you already have it, you're not worried about it. So act as though you already have it. I'm boring some people because I'm noticing I'm getting a lot of. I'm down to one person right now. So sometimes people watch this afterwards. I notice I get a lot more views after the fact, after it's gone into archive. People click on it because they've missed it. So those of you who've missed it, let me know if I'm talking too much, because this is how I deal with shock, how I deal with trying to figure things out. But then sometimes it's a futile attempt, trying to figure out how the sun came up. A lot of people have views on how the world was created, how the universe was created. And then, so anyway, I'm losing people. I've had, now I'm down. Oh well, I guess this is my therapy. And I think I'll take off my hat now. And these are things that I think if we consider more, because we wonder why do I have a panic attack? Why am I afraid of spiders? Why am I afraid of dogs? Well, you probably have a very good reason why you're afraid of dogs. You probably have a very good reason why you're afraid of spiders. And if you want to overcome your fear, a lot of times you have to consult your subconscious. Carl Jung, who was a Swedish, I think it was a Swiss psychiatrist, and he said if you, your fear, no, your unconscious, you must make your unconscious conscious, or it will run your life, and you'll call it faith. And a lot of people are they're baffled, they're bewildered, and they don't know what to do because they're 95% of your behavior, of where you are right now, was dictated by your subconscious. Because, again, your subconscious works independently. So when your subconscious takes in a concept, your subconscious is only trying to protect you. Your subconscious is looking out for your welfare. And when you have a bad experience, your subconscious takes it in and takes it as fact. So if you in high school asked a girl out and that girl turned you down, and you were traumatized by it, you're least likely to go ask another girl out, because your subconscious is trying to protect your emotions, trying to protect your body. So, and we have an amazing recall. Our subconscious has an amazing ability to recall a traumatic experience. And one thing I'm learning about the subconscious is you have to say, that's not happening right now. Like when you see somebody who looks like somebody who bullied you in school, if you see somebody who you tried to fix, there's a lot of interesting mysteries about the subconscious that I'm starting to learn. And and what the subconscious understands. The subconscious understands a whole different language. Like there's one called the don't technique, or or the not technique. You keep saying, I'm not rich, I'm not rich, I'm not rich. And your unconscious mind, your subconscious takes it in as, I am rich, because the subconscious mind doesn't understand not, the word not. It doesn't understand that. It omits it. So when you say, I'm not rich, you're detaching from it. Or I don't have. I don't have lots of money. I don't have lots of money. If you keep repeating it, your unconscious mind takes it in as fact. And that's another interesting backwards kind of like rabbit hole Alice in Wonderland concept. And so I need to take a deep breath. I've been watching how many people are saying, or I had quite a few people watching, and now I see a 1 and then a 0 and a 1 and a 0. So I guess somebody, I don't know, someone popped in long enough to say howdy. I guess people don't have a lot of time to do these. And I think a lot of YouTubers are still learning how to do live streams. They're still learning what to do in live streams, because like a Q&A. I think first of all, this is a vent. This is me just regurgitating, because I'm a researcher. I think by nature I'm a researcher, and I research a lot of stuff. And what I do after I research is I regurgitate. I research and then regurgitate everything I've found. I'm like a reporter. I guess I'm a reporter by nature. I'll go and get all this knowledge, and then I'll just talk about what I found out, or what I'm finding out currently. So please forgive my waterfall of words. And I think a lot of people will probably watch this after the fact. I'm going to therapy, if that's a question you want to ask. I'm seeing how it helps me. Because overthinking can be dangerous. I keep saying to people, the worst thing you can do is think. Sometimes the worst thing you can do is think. Because our thoughts are actually causing things on an emotional level, on a physical level. Our thoughts can be very damaging, because we think, what's the worst that can happen? Like if you can't get a hold of your mom, you wonder, okay, wow, what's happened? How come she's not answering the phone? Why is she not answering the phone? And then you go through all these scenarios. Sometimes my mom will text me and say, I'm okay. We got there okay. We're here now. She'll take a friend to the hospital for an appointment, and she'll text me to reassure me that she got there safely, that she's there in the doctor's office, which calms me, because I'm not only looking out for me, I'm looking out for her. And when she has her phone, that makes me feel good. When I can call her, that makes me feel good. When I can hear her voice at the other end. And I think a lot of it is our panic attacks are brought on because that's part of survival. Part of survival is working out what kind of scenario. A lot of people who think about what's going to happen usually don't get hurt a lot. They don't get hurt because they think it through. But that can be dangerous also, because when you're thinking of something, your subconscious is responding Like if your panic attack is brought on by, oh my God, my bill won't be paid, then it affects you emotionally and affects you physically. You start to have your panic attack. And once you start applying those principles, like so within, so without. I keep hearing that the universe is a mirror. Whatever you're thinking, the universe is just going to mimic you. The universe just confirms a lot. We get a lot of confirmation from the universe. If we say, I am tired, or I am sad, or I am depressed, then the universe just does whatever you're thinking, whatever you're talking about. We start to become magnetic to the things that we don't want. Like if we don't want to bump into a certain person, we keep seeing that person more. I think it's because we say don't, and the subconscious omits the word don't. So when you say, I don't want to see that person right now, the subconscious says, I want to see that person right now. And then we become magnetic. I think we have a natural magnetism. That's one thing I wanted to talk about was we have a natural magnetism, and when we want something really bad, we turn up that magnetism, and it slows down us drawing to ourselves that very thing, if that makes sense. Imagine you're pulling on a rope, okay? You're pulling on a rope, and what you desire is on the other end of that rope. And there is a natural speed to that. There's a natural, when you're pulling on that rope, and what you desire is on the other side of that rope, or the other end of that rope. And you're just naturally pulling it to you, that thing you desire. Or electromagnetics, let's talk about it that way. When you turn on a switch, the electromagnet turns on, but I'm pretty sure if you turn up the voltage, you're working against the natural speed of what you want. When you really, really want it, you turn up the magnetism, and the universe goes, hey, slow down, And then you build a resistance to what you want. You get a resistance to what you want. And so just want it and then detach from it. I keep hearing that, detach. Say, yeah, I want that. And then your natural magnetism, the magnetism you have by nature, comes into play. But then don't worry about it. That's the first thing my mother always says. Don't worry about it. Because then you build a resistance to it, because it's like you already know your kid wants a transformer for Christmas, but then he keeps harping on it. And so then all these conditions come into play. I don't know if I'm explaining this the right way. What you want is coming to you already, and when you put a lot of emphasis on it, you're turning up the magnetism, and then the universe starts saying, whoa, wait a minute, slow down. If you get it too soon, there's going to be a problem. Or if you get it at all, because look into lottery winners. People who win the lottery, it destroys their lives. Some people do really well after winning the lottery. They're set for life. But certain people, if they were to win the lottery, it destroys them. So be careful what you wish for. There's the oxymorons, and what else do you call it? Paradoxes. There's so many paradoxes in life. I like Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu, he was he was, aren't things wonderful the way they are? You know, don't want anything. Was that what Buddha said? The cause of suffering is desire. Desire something, want something. I think it's natural. If you didn't desire an apple, you wouldn't be eating an apple. If you didn't desire somebody to procreate with, there probably wouldn't be that. So desire is just something that's in our nature. But when that desire becomes an addiction, they say the definition of an addiction is when you start destroying your life, when it destroys your life. That addiction, that thing that you're addicted to, it starts to affect your decision making, your actions, and so I think the economy is based on us wanting things. If we didn't want a Pokemon, if we didn't want a Barbie doll, if we didn't want a Ferrari, then nobody would be motivated to get a Ferrari. Nobody would be motivated to collect Pokemon. You know, I'm just using those as an example. Then, and that's what the world seems to be based on: supply and demand, because that's how capitalism works. If there was no demand for Pokemon, then Pokemon wouldn't be an outrageous success, or baseball cards, or whatever people collect nowadays. But I say, just sit a while and watch what happens. Watch how quickly things come to you. Watch how quickly things just manifest. Because then that magnetism is natural. You know, like the people who get a girlfriend, the people who get a boyfriend, the people who get lots of money, they're not worried about getting a girlfriend. It just, they say, hey, it happens. And I think that's that balance that we need to achieve. That balance is like, hey, I'm going to eat today. And then you wind up eating. You know, I'm going to get a soda today. I'm going to get a Coke or a pop or a soda or whatever you call it. And you wind up drinking Coke, you know. You don't get so involved in, how am I going to get a Coke? I want a Coke so bad. But then again, there's that natural magnetism. You're naturally magnetic to what you want. And when you want it really bad, you have an unnatural magnetism to it. And that's why I think there's a resistance to what you want. I'm just talking because nobody's talking right now. I'm just blah, blah, blah. I'm going off. I'm spouting out this waterfall of words. Waterfalls can be beautiful sometimes. I love sitting next to a waterfall or watching a waterfall. Wow, there's only been two. Anyways, I'm not going to fret. I'm not going to worry. Maybe if I put back on my hat, put my hat back on. my magic hat will probably get me some conversation. I think it's the content, but you know what? It's me. This is me being me. That's what my therapist said. You be you. Just be you. Or you do you. And this is me doing me. Maybe I'll... Sometimes you gotta wait when you're fishing. You gotta wait before you actually get a hook. Before you get something on your hook, you have to wait a while. So this is me doing me. So I think what I can do is meditations. Sit and breathe. Breathe, relax and breathe, breathe and relax. Some of us forget to breathe. I notice I forget to breathe. I'm so caught up in this material world. But you know what? There's only 3 dimensions to this world, and they say there's 12 dimensions. There's dimension of time, dimension of height, width, and depth, dimension of sound. And I think that's what it is this world, we're so focused on this world and how much it scares us. This world scares me because it's very limited. They say, you got to get a job and you got to work. And that's one thing that I've always done. But then what happens when you can't work? Well, you got to find another way to make money because money is what you need. But then again, if you stop saying, I need money, then you won't create that. I keep hearing about that. We're creating all the time. If you create a need, then you'll just have a need. I guess that's what it is we're becoming more aware. Some of us are becoming aware that there is more. There is much more going on than what meets the eye. There is much more going on. Because I can remember when I was a child, everything just happened. Everything just came to me. Because I didn't think so much. And if you think so much, those thoughts affect your emotions, they affect your health. That's why we need to relax and breathe, breathe and relax. And take that quantum leap, that leap of faith. Because you don't think about getting into your car, you just get into your car. You don't think about how you're going to make the car work, you just make the car work. And I think that's how the universe works. The less you think about it, the less you worry about it, the more fluid it becomes. And if you don't want to be hypnotized, don't watch my my streams because I hypnotize myself, because they say all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And I think I've learned how to speak to my subconscious. And while I'm hypnotizing myself, I might accidentally hypnotize you. So if you don't want your lemon to be affected, Well, not actually. I'm bypassing the lemon. That's pretty much what hypnosis is. It's bypassing the lemon. The lemon is your critical thinking. That's why when you say things, don't think about them, don't judge them. I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. I I am a millionaire. And get more relaxed and comfortable with saying it because your subconscious will take it in as long as there's no resistance. If there's no resistance, and that's what hypnosis is about. It's about lowering your resistance. That's what you do is you gain rapport with the person you're hypnotizing. And sometimes the person you're hypnotizing is you, is yourself. Sometimes you're hypnotizing yourself. So you must gain a rapport with your subject. Once you've gained rapport with your subject, start stating facts. Because what you want to do is you want the fact checker to relax. You want your fact checker to just go, okay, that's all. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then the fact checker, which is your lemon, your conscious mind. My hat is brown. My shirt is blue. And once you get once you get the conscious mind to agree with everything you say, then it kind of goes down, that resistance goes down. Then you can say, your hand is stuck to the table. And when I snap my fingers, your hand will come away from the table. And so I think to be a really good hypnotist, a very good hypnotist, you must hypnotize yourself and gain a rapport with yourself. Start to lower your resistance to what you're saying. If you say something enough, the resistance is lowered. If you say something, you get so used to hearing it. You get so used to hearing, today's Wednesday. And then you go, yeah, today's Wednesday. And then I could probably tell you tomorrow that today is Wednesday. And you get so used to hearing it that you accept it as fact. Try that sometime. I remember you. That's the question I get asked the most. Do you remember me? You know what? How can I forget? You're one of the few people that are chatting with me right now. And I'm teaching hypnosis. I think I should teach hypnosis. I think I will be able to help a lot of people by teaching, first of all, what is hypnosis. And I think the most special person to hypnotize is yourself. And because I've been learning there's a lot of things that if we could only understand our subconscious, we can really accomplish a lot. Once we understand our subconscious, we'll understand why we have habits that we can't break. We can understand why our relationships are difficult. Once we, that's one thing is repetition. Repetition is another way of breaking down your conscious mind. That's why I was saying in one of the shorts I made, oh, I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? How you doing? I like asking that. How you doing? First of all, saying good morning. That's a good way to to get rapport. I've also noticed a good way to get rapport is by repeating someone's name, because people always understand their name. They always know their name, and they like hearing their name. So the more times you say someone's name, I've noticed that in interviews. So, well, you know what, Daryl? You know, one good thing I've known, Daryl, is, you know, if you say that's a good way to, because what I'm a part of hypnosis is rapport, and you can get suggestions through. That's good. Yeah, get an A. I don't think you could do better than an A. You can get an A plus, but you know what? It shows that you're a very good student, because some people, everybody learns differently, and when you get concepts and when you get and you understand someone is trying to teach you something and you get the concept, I think that's what it is, you know, once you get a concept, like some people are really good mechanics, some people are really good doctors, because some things you learn yourself. You're self-taught. I keep hearing a lot of people who learn an instrument or learn how to act or learn how to sing. I'm a self-taught singer, so because I listen to ranges. Oh, in Danish. Oh, okay. You're from Denmark then. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's A. 12 is a B. Yeah, and so on and so on. I guess school can discourage some people. First of all, the thing they're studying has to be interesting. I notice when people are interested in something, they're really good at it. When people aren't really interested in something, they uh, they kind of daydream. I do a lot of daydreaming, or I did a lot. I think I upset a lot of my teachers because I daydreamed a lot. But they say that is a very good way to communicate with your subconscious is by daydreaming or imagining. When you imagine, I mean, because look at Walt Disney, George Lucas, Gene Roddenberry. They had to imagine those things. J.K. Rowling. I could just, the list goes on and on. The guy who wrote Alice in Wonderland, he had to have imagined those things. That's what Einstein was saying. Albert Einstein, he said, if you want intelligent children, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. So it's like, uh, I was very imaginative as a child, you know, and still am. I love to just imagine. Whenever I get bored, I just take that imagination. That's what Neville Goddard was talking about. You know, our imagination. You can start seeing things in our reality. We're imagining the wrong things. That's the thing. We're all conditioned to worry about stuff. And when you worry, you're creating something to worry about. So you have to kind of reverse engineer. You have to reverse engineer that thing that you're worried about. Why are you worried about it? If you worry about it, you're going to create the worry scenario. So Neville Goddard, I keep talking about Neville Goddard because he had a lot of good points about the wish fulfilled. You know, see yourself as already having your wish fulfilled. I guess imagine a genie who can make anything happen, and you ask the genie for something, and you get it. So it's like, I want a cup of tea, and the genie says, "Your wish is my command," and then there's your cup of tea. You know, I want you to have a good day today. But then don't say, I want to have a good day, because you have to speak it. You'll create it as a want. So you say, I'm having a good day today. And then you create it. We do have a power to create. And I've noticed that. That's why bad things happen to good people, because of what they're thinking, the timeline, the scenario. And what we have to do in the quantum is we have to jump ahead. You go from wanting to be in the boat to being in the boat. Jonathan Livingston Seagull, read that book. I remember that as a kid. Jonathan Livingston Seagull. One of the scenarios was he just thought of where he wanted to be and he was there. And I think that's what it is we think linearly. We think linear. So we say, okay, I have to get up out of this chair. I have to walk over to the boat. I think some of us are quantum jumping. Some of us are quantum jumping, and we don't know how we did it. I've heard these scenarios like a guy's standing in a store and he doesn't know how he got there. Let me know if you've done that. If you're at a place, you arrive at a place and you don't know how you got there, or you don't understand, like Universal Studios. It's like, how in the hell did I get to Universal Studios? I had to travel a long distance, but then you bypass that. I think that's what it is. Quantum jumping is bypassing. You have to think of yourself as already there. Instead of staying in the hotel room, leaving the hotel room, going to the location, just say, I'm already there. And I think that's what it is the subconscious will act as though it's happening. I've noticed that in stage hypnosis. When I watch a stage hypnotist, they'll say, okay, your nose is rubber. I'm pulling on your nose, and when I let go of it, it's going to snap back. So our subconscious is taking in all that information as though it's really happening. Or the person next to you is the person next to you smells really bad, and all of a sudden you'll see the guy wave his nose and kind of move away from him, and it's like that's the subconscious without the lemon. See, the lemon is what stops things from getting into the subconscious, if that makes sense. Because in case you didn't notice, I've had a real interest in hypnosis because I've watched it happen, and I go, wow, think of, that's why we have panic attacks, because we start to panic over the thing we're worried about or the thing that we're upset about, and then our unconscious mind starts to make our heart beat faster, starts to cause our muscles to tense up. And I think that's what it is. We wake up at the controls, and that's what's scary. We realize we were at the controls the whole time. But then once we realize that we're at the controls, how do we control it? How do we control our fears, our worries? And I think what it is we have to retrain ourselves. We must unlearn what we have learned. What we have learned is how to worry. We've learned how to be afraid. We've learned how to create scenarios in our head that aren't even happening yet. Like when we go to get a shot, we're bracing ourselves for the pain. We're getting ourselves all geared up to get a shot or to get blood drawn. And then sometimes I don't even feel the needle. But then I request the butterfly. They have a needle they call the butterfly. You don't feel any pain. But I think that's what it is once we learn how to quantum leap, put yourself already there. Don't worry about how you're going to get there. That's another thing, like just keep repeating something, repeating to yourself your self-talk. That's what another thing. I keep talking about Neville Goddard because, man, this guy had a lot of knowledge that really makes sense even today. If you shifting and manifesting, they all talk about Neville Goddard. You know, once you imagine something, involve your senses, because that's a good way to communicate with your unconscious mind. What I think I like to do is like a ball. Imagine a ball in your hand. What color is the ball? How heavy is it in your hand? And what does it feel like? Is it a tennis ball? Is it a golf ball? Is it a baseball? Is it a handball? Is it a metal ball? You know, and just sit there quietly and contemplate that, and you'll find yourself physically holding a ball. Another thing like the ladder, um, Neville would say, visualize yourself walking up a ladder or climbing up a ladder, and the whole time say, I will not climb a ladder. I will not climb a ladder. Because again, your subconscious mind omits the uh, the not part. So you're basically telling your subconscious, I am climbing a ladder. I am climbing a ladder. And again, repetition, visualization, imagining, because your subconscious gets into how it feels, how it smells, how it tastes, and so how's this for a regurgitation? Just regurgitating all the stuff that I've learned over the years. I think it was 2001 or 2000 was when I first got introduced to hypnosis. And ever since then, I've been learning all these things about hypnosis. Because that's how people stop smoking sometimes, is by listening to a hypnosis session, or stop gambling. But there are good and bad things about everything. That whole duality. There's, yeah, good, bad, cold, hot. And then there's polarity. To what degree, how bad is this? How good is this? No truths are, all truths are half truths. Nothing is absolute. Oh, if you go to my community page, or if you click on community when you get to my channel, um, I've put there the Kybalion. The Kybalion talks a lot about the Hermetic principles, and it's pretty trippy when you listen to it. And also the Golden Books of Saint Germain. The Count of Saint Germain was said to have been an immortal, and there were actual accounts of this guy. He always stays around the age of 47. He was into alchemy and all that, and he talks a lot about affecting reality, changing reality, which we're doing all the time. We're just doing it the wrong way. We're doing it the wrong way. So, what is the opposite of worry? What is the opposite of panic? What is the opposite of? So, whenever you feel a panic attack coming on, just say, what is the opposite of this? And what you do with the subconscious likes to research things, and it comes up with answers. It's kind of interesting. Why am I doing this? Why do I always do this? And the subconscious goes, okay, you've given me a task. Because I think the subconscious is very task oriented. Wow, it's amazing how I've become an authority on this stuff. So, I got a 1 so far. There was a 2, and then I guess the other person got bored. That's what Hermes said. if you try to teach the if you try to teach these principles to the average person, they will just say words, words, words. You're still here? All right. Well, it comforts me. It comforts me. No, I like how I look in this hat too, but it gives me headaches if I wear it too long. It's supposed to just sit on my head, and it does. I think it's another word I've learned is ajna. Ajna. I think in Hindi or Sanskrit. I think Sanskrit is the writing, and Hindi is the language. But ajna means to command, and a lot of thought or a lot of teachings are about the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra. It's called the Ajna chakra, and it's called the command chakra. Or Ajna means to command, and they say your pineal gland is inside your head, and so whatever you're thinking of, it's commanding your reality. If you read about, I think it's Shiva was the creator and destroyer. No, the Brahman, Vishnu, Shiva. Anyway, there's that's why we have to be very careful about what we're thinking, because what we're thinking is commanding our reality. I think after a while we won't have worry. We'll be able to dispel worry. We'll be able to dispel fear when we realize we are the creators of fear. We're the creators of worry. I think we'll be liberating ourselves the more we do research. I like that. Who was it? The Special Forces. Their creed is "De oppresso liber," and it means liberate the oppressed. And I kind of like that creed. "De oppresso liber," liberate the oppressed. And a lot of us are self-oppressed. We're oppressing ourselves because of our low self-esteem, because we are disappointed in ourselves. And then I think once we realize that we're creating our reality by what we say, what we feel, what we talk about, what we say. That's where abracadabra came from. Abracadabra means I create as I speak. So be careful what you speak. Because when we talk about our self-talk, if we say to ourselves, I'm depressed, I'm upset, I'm sad, then you become that because you're creating as you speak. Instead say, I'm happy right now. Because then it starts creating your reality in the present tense. Don't say, one day I'm going to be rich. One day, because that one day, you just, it's not now. So you have to put it as now. Right now. Because then you have to say, if you say go, then it sets things in motion. As I will it, so shall it be. It is done. Another one, it is done. It's amazing, like spoken spells. Like when we speak something, the unconscious mind, the collective conscious, all starts to hear it, and then it starts to comply. I am feeling good today. I am feeling good today. I am having a good day. Do it without even thinking about it, because the more you think about it, the more you criticize it. It becomes critical. Then your conscious mind starts to interfere with it. Oh, you're a millionaire? How come you only have $5 in your bank account? One thing I've noticed is the the unconscious mind understands stop. So if you start to worry, just say the word stop and then begin thinking things to your advantage. I'm a millionaire. I am a millionaire. And then don't think anything past that, because then your conscious mind will start to shape things. It'll start to distort your goal. This sounds like woo-woo, but a lot of science is proving it now. Science is proving the effects of our thoughts, the effects of our words. I keep talking about the Copenhagen experiment, how everyone is experiencing according to what they do, according to the observer. In magic, they call you the operator. You're the operator. So when you start to do magic, you're the operator. And never forget that. When you speak words, be very careful what you're speaking. People say, don't say that. Why? Because there's power behind what you say. Or, yeah, I hear that sometimes. Don't say that. Or don't speak that over me. Also, our superstitions. That is an interesting concept of our, how do we say it? Most people do not open an umbrella in the house. Most people do not walk under a ladder. Most people do not like the number 13 or 666, because it's something we take for granted. We take for granted, or it's the law of assumption. We assume that if we open an umbrella in the house, it's going to bring bad luck. Or we assume that if we break a mirror, we're going to get 7 years bad luck. And so there you have it. You're bypassing the conscious mind and just you're assuming it. You're taking for granted that you're going to get a result. Like with me, a rabbit's foot. You carry a rabbit's foot. They call it superstition, but it does have an effect because they actually believe it. They actually believe that if they carry a rabbit's foot, they're going to be lucky. Everybody has their own way of bringing luck. I think the Chinese, the color red brings good luck and good fortune. So so you can make superstition work for you. I am a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. And then try to feel excited about saying it. I'm a millionaire. Or whenever the thought of a bill comes up or the thought of lack comes up, just say, hey, I'm a millionaire. What do I have to worry about? And then watch your subconscious. Because your subconscious is linked into the collective conscious. So when you believe something enough, because I guess the universe has its limit, and you have your limit, because everything in the microcosm is in the macrocosm. So we're just a representation of the universe. So imagine that. If you can hypnotize the universe through your imagination, through your words, because isn't it funny, magicians, they use words, Expelliarmus, and then the wand flies out of the hand, Wingardium Leviosa, and the feather starts to float. Expecto Patronum, Expecto Patronum means I await my guardians. Because they're speaking Latin. Encendere, and something burns up, So words are powerful. Abracadabra, I create as I speak. I think that's what it is. The less we judge what we say, the quicker we're going to get a result. Don't say, my head hurts. Don't say, I have a headache. Because then, or it's funny how even doctors use words. They get you to say, I have schizophrenia, or I have ADHD. It's like, until you're diagnosed, you don't know you have it. You're just a person. But now you're a person who has ADHD, or whatever. You're a person who has um, whatever they diagnose you with. So it's almost like they're attaching you somehow to this condition. Oh, now I have ADHD, or now I have post-traumatic stress disorder. They're all acronyms too. Isn't that funny? They don't say post-traumatic stress. They say PTSD. They call it a disorder. It's interesting, Never Ending Story. Have you ever watched that movie? How the kid is reading the book, and as he's reading the book, things are happening. I think that's why the Bible, a lot of people read the Bible, and it becomes a collective consciousness. In the Bible, the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, all these books were all previously written, and they all read these books, and as they read these books, they assume that it is all real, and it becomes real. It's bypassing the conscious mind, going into the unconscious mind. That's one thing that was scaring me about the Bible. The Bible talks about the lake of fire and brimstone, which is the second death. And so then this image is conjured in my imagination as I read it. And that's scary. I spent most of my teenage life, my young adult life, just being afraid of the lake of fire and brimstone, which is the second death. But then the Egyptians talk about the second death. Their second death is, they have a different take on it. They have Anubis. Anubis weighs your heart against a feather, and if the feather and your heart weigh the same, you get to go into the field of reeds. And if your heart is heavier than the feather, you get thrown to this crocodile monster, and this crocodile monster eats you up, and that's the second death. So everyone has a different take, I guess, on the second death. I think I'm losing people. So anyway, I think welcome to this lecture. This is going to be a lecture. It's turned into a lecture. I guess I'm a professor by nature, because people say don't lecture me, or here comes a lecture. So some of this might be taken as blasphemy, but it's just something I'm considering. Things that people take, that assume. When you assume something, you're bypassing the lemon. You're bypassing the critical mind. So keep saying, I'm a millionaire. Or whenever a thought of money comes up, say, why am I worried about it? I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. And then it'll get into the unconscious mind. And then you'll watch things happen. I'm a millionaire. Why am I worried about it? I'm a millionaire. Why am I worried about being homeless? Why am I worried about not having the medication I need? I'm a millionaire. Because then you bypass the conscious mind. You make that quantum leap. You put yourself where you should be, or where you want to be. That's what I'm practicing at night, right when I go to sleep, if I can calm down enough. In my imagination, I put myself where I want to be. then you're bypassing the linear. You're jumping past the linear. But this is just how I think. Everyone else might have a different take on that. Life is but a dream. Life is but a dream. A lot of people say that. A lot of ancients say, this is a dream. So I am dreaming a dream. Just how real is this dream? Because here I am. I don't know how I got here, you know. I'm just here. But then we think linearly. We think I was a sperm and an egg. That sperm and an egg came together. And then I became an embryo. Then I became a fetus. Then I became a baby ready to be born. And then now I'm outside of my mother. Now I'm 55 years old. But if nobody ever told you that, if science never told you that, then how would you know where you came from? You're just here. If you suddenly got amnesia and you forgot where you came from, that'd be kind of scary, I think. But I'm looking over at this object, and I'm reaching out to this object, and I'm picking up this object, and I didn't think about how I did it. I just did it. And I think that's how the universe works. You just, because you're not in the universe, you are the universe. You are the universe. You are a part of the universe. You are a thinking, functioning part of the universe. Thinking, acting, functioning part of the universe. So if you think of yourself as part of the universe, you're not separate from the universe. Just like one of your neurons that causes synapses. One of your red blood cells, is it part of your body or is it your body? Your nose, is it part of your body or is it your body? You are a part of the universe, but you're also the universe. Your eyeball, if you took out your eyeball, it wouldn't be able to function on its own. If you plucked one of your hairs, it's no longer part of you. Anyways, this is how I think sometimes. In the Golden Book of Saint Germain, he says that we are God in action. So we collectively make up God. We have that unity. The Lord our God is one. So God is not out there. God is within us. Know ye not that you are the temple of God and the Spirit of God dwells within you? But then God brings fire down from the sky. If you remember the story of Elijah. So God is everywhere. Ehia, Esher, Ehia. I've heard can also be interpreted as I am that which exists. Which goes to the Kabbalion, the all. The all. The all is in all. The all comes back to the all. So, wow. Insanity or ingenious? Genius and insanity? Are we all experiencing insanity or are we experiencing genius? I guess I'm really bored. This is how I wonder if I need to ask more questions of the people. I'm just lecturing here because this person, now I'm back to zero. I'm back to just plain zero. I've talked myself out of company. I think that's what I do. I do that sometimes. I've talked myself right out of company. I need to start asking questions. An hour and 26 minutes. I've sat here and just talked. My ego has taken over. My ego has taken over. I'm listening to myself talk. Hey, I'm listening to myself talk. What is your self-talk? What do you say to yourself? Because your subconscious is listening the whole time. Also, memory. I want to go into memory. There's cellular memory. Like when an organ transplant is done, the memory of that person gets transferred to the person, to the new owner. People start to take on talents. People start to take on cravings. So there's proof of memory at the cellular level. Also, family history. I like to do some experiences about experiments on family history. If you can put someone into a hypnotic state and have them erase their family history, what they have, which I think is possible. I think if you can acquire cellular memory, you could probably erase cellular memory. Because my mother had a heart failure, but my two brothers do not have heart failure. I have heart failure. So could that be? They say genetically it skips, like Huntington's disease, which is a horrible disease. Not everyone gets Huntington's disease in a family. It kind of skips around. So is it DNA or is it cellular memory? If you were to erase cellular memory and reboot it, would there be hereditary diseases? But then again, there's no money in the cure. There's money in treating. There's money in treating cancer. There's money in treating mental illness. There's money in selling people, whether they like it or not, whether they choose it or not. There's money in giving people medications, which is not a cure, it's a treatment. But then again, our health is a ransom. We have to pay a ransom to get health. When I was young, the only reason you went to the hospital was if you got injured. Oh, he went to the hospital. He put him in the hospital. He was hit by a car and he was in the hospital. Now people just go to the hospital and they see their primary care physician. Their primary care physician sends them to another physician. They can only see that physician if they are referred to that physician. You can't just go, uh, I have the headaches, you know, I'm having headaches. Well, we'll send you to a headache doctor. You remember the family doctor? You know, you just went to the family doctor. The doctor would figure out what's wrong with you. Now it's like there's a network of doctors. There's a network of doctors that send you to other doctors. And you can't see those other doctors unless the ringleader sends you to another doctor. And then you got to spend money on gas to get to that other doctor. Like therapy. They're saying I need therapy because I went to a mental hospital. I guess it was called a mental hospital. I was having a breakdown, a horrible breakdown. They kept me in a room until, because there were no psychiatrists. There are no psychiatrists here. So they have to send you out, but they hold you in a room until they can take you to this facility. Then you spend time at this facility. You're in a room full of strangers. Maybe you will, maybe you won't form relationships. And when you do form relationships, you have to leave that facility because you're an outpatient now. You have to go to this site. First of all, you see the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist to say, okay, now you're an outpatient. You're going to go to this place that's a half hour away from your house. So it's a half hour there and a half hour back. And I guess the psychiatrist, there's no therapy. There's no help for you. You just see the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist says you're going to see this therapist or another psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist turns you over to a therapist. Right away, they give you medications. And the medications don't stop the problem. They don't stop the cause. I think they confuse the cause and the symptom. They don't confuse it. They don't acknowledge it. If someone is burning, you pull them away from the fire. You don't give them Tylenol while they're being burned, while they're being burned by the whatever is causing them to burn. You pull their hand away from the source of the burn, and then you give them Tylenol, but only if they need Tylenol. Anyways, but that's just me. I don't know everything. I don't know everything, but I do know that mental health needs to be taken a lot more seriously. Mental health and what causes us to be mentally unhealthy. Because I believe that life as I know it is mentally unhealthy. Life as I know it is very mentally unhealthy because we all have to work. We all have to have family, but we can't spend a lot of time around family because we're working. We're working all of our day, which leaves nothing to the imagination, which screws up our subconscious because we don't have time to imagine anything. We don't have time to paint anything. We don't have time to write anything because we're working. We're working all the time. We can't make a painting or paint a painting. We can't write a book. We can't make a cartoon. We can't showcase our cartoon. We can't showcase our painting. So that part of us dies. That God's gift to us dies. We can't write a screenplay. We can't create a movie because we're working. We're working for so little money. The money we need to live in a house so that we can have a table, so that we could write our books, so we can showcase our paintings and our books. There's so much that's taken from us. There was like, what was that show? Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood, when the guy was a painter. The guy was a painter in the prison, Alcatraz prison, and the warden took away his paintbrush, his painting, his paint, and the guy wound up chopping off his hand because he couldn't express himself. He couldn't do what makes him happy. This is our Alcatraz. It seems like this is our Alcatraz, and our painting paraphernalia, our brushes, our paint, our canvas is being taken away from us. So all we can do, that causes depression. That causes depression. You know, like we get up and we're just basically making money for someone else. We're making money for someone else. We can barely afford our rent. We can barely afford, we're just a couple of paychecks away from being out there with the rest of them, sleeping in a tent, sleeping in a parking lot, in our car, even though we're working a full-time job, or sometimes 2 full-time jobs, fearing our children will be taken away because we can't afford daycare. And it seems like it's set up like that. It's set up to where you can't live a happy life. But then again, we got to stop the pendulum from swinging the other way. We need to swing the pendulum the other way to where it benefits us. Start as children. You know, if I've seen paintings go for lots of money. Paintings go for a lot of money. So that's a source of income right there. As children, just let people learn how to paint, learn how to play instruments, learn how to write poetry, learn how to write books. And that would be their source of income, doing something they want to do. If you do what you want to do, it's not work anymore. And I think that they want to keep us lower vibrating. They want to keep us vibrating at a lower level by showing us disease, by showing us war, by showing us famine, by showing us that life seems to be a futile attempt. Life seems to just be a futile attempt for most people who get high school diplomas, who get college diplomas, and most people, they get a college diploma, a high school diploma, they take a trade school, and then they wind up, the job they get is not the job they trained for. It's almost just show up and start working. You don't need to spend 12 years in high school to show up and start working. Most of my jobs were just show up and start working. Learn your job, do your job. Even though I graduated from high school, even though I spent some time in college, I just had to show up to a job and learn the job and do the job. It's like, why can't they just cut out the middleman? Just teach you how to dial a phone or submit applications, and whatever job calls you and says, can you come into work, show up to the job, learn the job, and do the job. Why all this Sisyphus? We suffer from Sisyphus. We're pushing a boulder up a hillside, and then at the end of the day, we let go of that boulder and let it roll back down to the bottom of the hill, and we get up in the next morning, and we start pushing that boulder back up the hill. And wow, I'm depressing myself. This is supposed to be a show that uplifts. I keep saying that. Maybe this is that oxymoron, that big contradiction in terms, that paradox. Hey, Johnny likes to paint. He can paint pictures. He can showcase his paintings, and people will buy his paintings, and that's his source of income. Susie plays violin. Teach her how to play a violin. If she likes playing the violin, she can do a street performance, get some money that way, open up a studio with that money, start teaching other people how to play violin. That's how Susie can make her money, doing what she already does. It's like paying a bird to fly. It's like paying a fish to swim. Paying rain to fall from the sky. Do what they do naturally. Like me, I like to bullshit. I like to joke and bullshit and talk and interview people. That could be my hello America. Wow, I sat here long enough. I was getting kind of lonely. I'm going to make this about you and me, because lately I've been talking and talking. You're back. Yes, you are. Did you change your logo? I don't recognize that logo. This is the first time I'm seeing this one. So you're back from school? I guess it's... Anyway, I want to talk to the people. That's what I want to do. I think that's why I'm losing so many viewers. You couldn't... That's all right. You're here now. You did. So now you have a new... You did? Yes, I did. I was. Well, cool. Now we're having a conversation. I guess today I was just regurgitating. Like I keep saying, my soul needs to puke. And my soul has puked. So now we can have conversations. I think that's what it is. This turns into like a TV show. And these streams are usually Q&As, conversations. I think that's why people drop off. I noticed a lot of people dropped off. I had quite a few people on earlier, and then they started dropping off, and it's... Oh, I love making people laugh. I like that emoji. That shows that I hit pay dirt. Gene Wilder, he was saying that whenever his mother Peter Pants, that's when he knew he was being really funny. He would joke around in front of his mother, and then that's how he knew he really did well, was when his mother Peter Pants. I don't know if I should be telling that, but he was in Blazing Saddles. He played Willy Wonka. He was in Young Frankenstein. That's always funny, because I know I hit pay dirt when I can make my mom laugh. I like to crack jokes in front of my mom. And if she laughs, I know I did well. My brother laughs too sometimes at my shenanigans. Well, welcome to the show. I'm using another format. I'm getting the same results. Because I guess a lot of people watch on their phones now. This is more like a phone format. And I'm just just enjoying the day today, try to battle depression by not thinking depressing thoughts. So I think it's amazing how little we learn. There's so little that we learn. I'm watching wars continue. I'm watching a lot of the same, but you know what? I've noticed this. I used to hate seeing tattoos, but now I'm noticing a lot of people who don't have tattoos. I have. You know what? And I'll need to keep doing what I'm doing, not get discouraged. Because I think it is the observer effect. I'm learning about, if you keep observing tattoos, you're just going to keep seeing more tattoos. So if you want to see less tattoos, just observe people who don't have tattoos. And there's, oops. What was the oops for? I used to play a lot of instruments. Now I'm just talking. I think talking is better. I get to know the people. So it looks like I have two people. I'm sporting my faux hawk. I guess a faux hawk. That way my hair doesn't get messed up when I put on my Willy Wonka hat. You remember my instruments? Playing, maybe I'll bring back some of that. So I showed you one of my, I guess we're going to have to go back to some of the other stuff, the entertainment. Or just try to be entertaining, People are joining, so why not? I've been watching a lot of Tom Green's videos. He lives out in Ottawa, I think. He's moved back to Canada, and he's in the country part of Canada, and he has a mule named Fanny, and he has a donkey, and he's got a dog named Charlie, and he's doing podcasts from, I think it's a barn or one of the rooms. So that's kind of like because I really like nature. I really like seeing trees, and I like seeing the blue sky and all that. So it's kind of like my way of escaping when I watch those videos or his podcasts. He was talking to Phil Giroux, which is pretty interesting. I like his take on different subjects. So yeah, a lot of people. There was somebody from Canada that chimed in, and they have their flag is also represented. See that one? I don't know if you can see these, but somebody from Canada said howdy, and then they left. I guess school is letting out now. They're no longer the prison without bars. So things are pretty good. Let me know if I'm talking too loud. Sometimes I talk loud. Sometimes I talk a lot. That's one of my my strong suits, I guess. Just blah, 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 blah. And I keep looking at my puppet over here. My puppet. I'm going to get my puppet. I have him resting comfortably. Oh, Kingdom of Pets website is in the description. It's okay. Is that an expletive? There we go. Where's my puppet? Hi. How are you? I'm Bobo. This is for Bubba is for everybody. There's got a delay. Anyway, sometimes you just have to get a puppet. So what do we do now? Now that we're online, now that we're on the internet, I think I'll pull out my fart gun. A lot of people use that. Leslie Nielsen used a fart machine when he'd do interviews. Sometimes he'd have his pooter. Who's that? Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill has a fart machine. And this is my fart machine. Or my cartoon farts. So here we are. We're seeking entertainment and hopefully finding some. Well, I guess more than an hour has gone by. I have to, when I take my thyroid medication, I'm supposed to wait an hour. And I started this, and it's been well over an hour. There we go. A little bit of music. A little bit of fun time. This is what I like to do. Maybe this will be my job. My job will be to talk to people online. Don't forget Kingdom of Pets website. My Kingdom of Pets website. They teach you how to train your animal, how to care for your animal, or your buddy. You know, sometimes your pet is your buddy, and I think they should be your buddy. Because nobody knows your animal like you, or nobody knows you like your animal. You know, when you're having a tough day at work, you know, when they come to greet you when you come home from work, you know. So yeah, Kingdom of Pets. It's in the description. I like saying in the description, you'll find Kingdom of Pets, and in the future I'll be promoting some of my other websites. So right now it's Kingdom of Pets. It's one of the less disturbing of my websites, and because I don't want to disturb anybody. So that's one of my dreams. Please help me make my dream come true, to have an online business, to get those commissions coming in, so I can keep doing what I'm doing and keep helping people, helping other people besides just me. So how, it looks like I got two people. We got America. 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 I like that song. Team America World Police. I can say the F word. I'm pretty sure I can do that. Because I made this not for kids. Even though kids still join me. Kids still come onto my show. That's why I'm being selective of what I promote. Because I have some other things I promote that aren't kid friendly. So I try to keep it kid friendly, so that I don't overstep boundaries. Oh wow, back to a 0. Oh, this is a bounce house. Maybe I should buy a bouncy house. Call it Eddie's Fun House, Ed's Fun Bouncy House. But I see a lot of bouncy houses when I'm at the park. Whenever somebody has a kid has a birthday, I see a bouncy house. There's probably a lot of money to be made in a bouncy house. I know my brother got a bouncy house one time. I went to his house for like a birthday party or something like that. No, it was a Halloween party. You got a bouncy house. You have to take off your shoes and bounce around inside. They should make some of those for adults too. Adults like to bounce. Just make them really big, upscaled. Oh, bye. Well, you have a great day. Thank you for stopping by. Hopefully it looks like everything is up to par. So we'll see who else joins me. Right now we're an hour and 55 minutes in. One time I stayed down for 3 hours. Maybe I should get some snacks. I'll sit here with some potato chips. I could eat some potato chips while I have a show. Well, thank you for saying bye. Some people just drop off, and I wonder, what did I do? What did I do to lose that viewer? It's been a while since I played my flute. My recorder. To me, it's a flute. Thank you. Please put the penny in the old man's hat. That's what I should do. I want to do a telethon. See how much money I can raise so that I can cover my necessities, cover my expenses. What I need to do is put my donation link. If I put my donation link in the description, I can do things, and maybe people will donate, and that will keep this show going. And then I'll need to get a certified public accountant so I don't get in trouble with the taxes. That's how they caught Al Capone. He had evaded taxes. Oh, I'm getting a headache right here. Some people say, I've heard that headaches are could cause aneurysms. I think that's the right word, aneurysm. What they call it is, I think it's an aneurysm, a brain aneurysm. Whenever you have a headache, it's a vessel expanding, and you could die from an aneurysm. I get mine right here on our, and it's just today there's this pain right here, and it's affecting my eyeball. So maybe that's how my life will end. It will end with an aneurysm. You could just be walking down the street, and all of a sudden a vessel can pop in your head, and you wind up dying. I wonder if death was invented. I really think that there's a lot more going on, because first of all, there's life. Life happened because they say God wanted to have the experience. God wanted to have the experience of living. And so then reproduction. because we have to replace, those who were eaten, those who died because of an accident or died because of war, died for whatever reason. Now, then there has to be reproduction to replace those people who died. That's what I don't understand aging. If people die in accidents, if people die because of diseases, then why do we need to age? If people die anyway, why do we need to age and then die? Because you're the quicker one. You're the one who didn't get eaten. You're the one who wasn't eaten. You're the quicker or the smarter one. You're the one who kept themselves free of disease. Shouldn't there be an award? Shouldn't there be some kind of an award, for not dying in a stupid way? For not dying because you I think one thing that's really traumatizing is forgetting your parachute or grabbing the wrong bag, grabbing the wrong backpack, and while you're in the air, you realize that you didn't grab the parachute, you just grabbed a backpack, and you put on a backpack, and that actually happened. This poor guy, he grabbed a backpack and he thought it was a parachute, didn't realize it until he was already falling, which is kind of like, wow, heart attack? You would probably die before you hit the ground, having a heart attack because you realized, I didn't grab my parachute, I grabbed a backpack and put it on and jumped out of the airplane. And then you panic and freak out because there's nothing you could do except for grab air. So this is Ed, what Ed thinks about. What Ed thinks about. He thinks about ways you can die. So I don't know why. I like to sit and have a talk with God and say, well, why do we have to get old and die? If you don't die, there should be an award. It should be your reward, I guess. If you don't die, say, from an animal attack or from an explosion or electrocution, you should just go on living. That should be your reward. Your reward should be you get to go on living and you don't have to age. You just go on living until you finally do die. Then you could say, yeah, I'm 105 years old because I didn't wrestle an alligator, because I didn't try to pet a bear, because I didn't get eaten by wolves. Because that's what I think about it. Yeah, this guy's 105 years old, but he's old. That's kind of a fucked up deal. He's old. He's really old. He's 103 years old, but he's really old. This guy lived to be 109 years old. Yeah, but he's old. He didn't dodge being old. Like me. If I live to be 80, yeah, I live to be 80, but I'm old. That's a fucked up deal. It's like I live to be 105 years old, but I can still run. I don't need to wear a diaper. It's great. It's great. I'm 105 years old because I wasn't eaten by, coyotes, or I didn't contract some weird disease, or I made it to 105 because my bungee cord didn't snap, or I didn't misjudge the length of my bungee cord, That should be an award, shouldn't it? Being old or reaching an advanced age. That would be great. Say, hey God, can't we make it to where living longer is a reward? instead of getting old, shouldn't shouldn't it be a reward? That'd be great, wouldn't it? I'm 112 years old because I didn't play Russian roulette. I'm 112 years old because I didn't try to jump on a train, you know, or jump off a cliff and realize that the water wasn't as deep as I thought. Wow, these are things I think about. Things Ed thinks about. I am a firm believer in that. It's like, okay, you survived World War II. You survived that plane crash. You survived. Your reward should be you get to be 105 years old, and you don't age. You don't age. You don't get some disease to die from. Another thing is disease. I think death should be based on what you choose to do. If you choose to bungee jump, if you choose to base jump, if you choose to play Russian roulette, that should be the cause of death. Now, a disease, on the other hand, you don't choose to get a disease, so why should that kill you? I didn't choose heart disease. I didn't choose heart failure. I just got it. I just got heart failure, and it's like, I didn't choose that. Or malaria. You don't choose to get malaria. You don't choose to get leprosy. You don't choose. And then again, the communicable diseases. You know, how did you know that person had a communicable disease? And if you did, you made the choice not to sleep with that person. You made a choice uh, not to shake hands or make out or, you know, pink eye and shit like that. You didn't. Some of that shit is a choice, and it's like, okay, shouldn't there be some kind of somebody acquires a disease somehow, you know, quarantine that person so they don't come in contact with other people? COVID. I got COVID. It's like I didn't kiss anybody. I didn't have anybody cough on me. A cold. You get a cold. You catch that because you're in a house with a bunch of people who have a cold. Wouldn't that be cool if you could rearrange stuff like that? Here's what we're going to make death a punishment. You know, we're going to make death something that happens to people, you know, like Darwin, you know, the Darwin Award or the dumbest ways to die. Like if you swallow a billiard ball and it gets stuck there, you know, or if you're playing around with a sword next to some power lines, you know, that should be how a person dies. But getting a disease, you know, you didn't have a choice in the matter. Diabetes, you don't choose to get diabetes. So let's take that off the table. Let's take diabetes off the table. Let's take cancer off the table. The only way you would die is if you did something that was foolish, stupid, idiotic. But then if you don't die because you're smart, if you don't die because you avoided oh, um, being eaten by something or being torn apart by something, then life should be an award. Shouldn't it be an award? Today we're celebrating this guy. He lived to be 500 years old because he didn't do anything stupid. He got to live longer. And then your body would morph. Your body would, if you happen to lose an eye, if you happen to lose your hearing, then your body would rejuvenate. The older you get, the better you'd get. The older you get, the better your body would be. It would just keep evolving. It would keep restoring itself. You wouldn't get cavities. If you got a cavity, then the tooth would just fall out, and then you would grow another one back in its place, kind of like a shark. Wouldn't that be cool? If you get a cavity, the tooth would just fall out, and then you would grow another one in its place. But if you broke a tooth because you did something stupid, then it wouldn't grow back. You just have to live the rest of your days with a broken tooth because you tried to open a bottle cap with your teeth. Wow, I guess my mind is wandering. I don't want to offend anybody. I'm just thinking that life should be an award. I think it's time to eat now. I should eat. Some people have talked to me. Some people spoke to me. America spoke to me. Who else? I'm going to give credit. Albert talked to me. That's cursive. Someone from Canada talked to me. Felly? It's in cursive and it's really small. Felly. It looks like Felly. I see a Phell. Philby. A B and a Y. LBY. Philby. Oh, wow. Maybe I can come back after I eat something. I can eat something and then come back. Or go grab a bag of chips. Go back, grab a bag of chips. But then I'd have to leave this running until I make I think that's what I'll do. I'll just eat something and then maybe come back. So hopefully this has been as interesting for you as I thought.